Halo 3 ODST is a very unique game in the franchise, yet the game's gameplay is nearly identical to Halo 3. It was a game made for liberation with the harshest restrictions yet. Is it one of the most creative and unique perspectives in the entire franchise, or just overpriced garbage? Hi, I'm Jobert, and I'm here with the Halo retrospective, Detour. We're going to be talking about one of the strangest games in the Bungie franchise, Halo 3 ODST. Halo 3 ODST has an interesting history. It was a part of a deal that Bungie would be separated from Microsoft and go independent after making 2 final Halo games. In fact, the only reason it was sold as a $60 product was to satisfy the conditions of the deal. Originally, it was supposed to be an expansion to Halo 3, a sort of mini DLC story similar to those found in GTA 4 and Red Dead Redemption. But because of the deal, and the fact that the campaign was still a similar length to Call of Duty campaigns and other campaigns on the market, it was sold as a $60 product. There's one problem though. People play Call of Duty and other games for the multiplayer, not the campaign. And considering the only multiplayer in this game is a wave defense horde mode and a disc containing Halo 3's multiplayer, this game has a bit of an uphill battle to face. Luckily for me, I prefer quality over quantity. I really don't mind that Halo 3 ODST is only 4 hours, I really don't. But those 4 hours have to be justified with some great content. And do we have that here? It's kind of debatable. While Halo 3 ODST is certainly a solid game, it never really goes above and beyond like the other 3 games did, reusing a ton of the gameplay mechanics from Halo 3 with very minimal changes, a story that's pretty cool at first through its presentation, but its cracks start slowly peeking through, with a lot of lackluster characters, aside from maybe Buck, and a rather brave attempt for a Halo game, a hub world. But this hub world is also barren, and has very little to do outside of just go from mission to mission. But I guess we should just go ahead and take it from the top. The first thing you'll notice about Halo 3 ODST is its perspective change. If you couldn't tell by the title, you're playing as an ODST in this game, which are nowhere near as strong as the Super Soldier Spartans. This sends the player's mind racing, thinking about possibilities of the game, focusing more on survival rather than the power fantasies of the original trilogy. But let me go ahead and get it out of the way. It's not that at all. In this game, an ODST is basically a slightly slower Spartan that has to chew on some snacks every now and then, even though the story would like you to believe that is not the case. Speaking of the story, we actually have an interesting cast of characters here. Not really because of the actual characters, but more the voice actors. A good portion of the crew from Firefly is in this game. It even has Nathan Fillion himself playing as your leader, Buck. And of course there's some of the other cast members from Firefly. However, your character that you play as for the majority of the game, the Rookie, does not have a voice. This is actually something that I like about this game. Having the protagonist not have a voice increases the atmosphere and the loneliness of the game. So in this first cutscene here, your squad is kind of arguing about the plans for the assault on this Covenant carrier above New Mombasa. And if you have a good memory, you remember New Mombasa was the city from Halo 2. And in this scene, you have a few exchanges with your squad, and it kind of builds their character just a tad. After all the cast has been introduced, you're waking up from your drop pod. While originally planned for you to land on the Covenant carrier, you're blown off course and sent flying into the city, separated from your squad. And the rest of the game is basically finding your squad. Once you are in-game, you are presented with Halo 3 ODST's world, the streets of New Mombasa, that are drenched at night and slight rainfall. And while the city is definitely impressive to look at, we're already faced with a problem. This city is not interesting to explore. Progress is blocked behind these huge doors that take at least 10 seconds to open. Firefights are average at best. And there's not really much to find in the city. But see, in other games with hub worlds, the hub takes no time to adventure. You'd find little secrets here and there, but you can always get to the next mission so quickly. But in Halo 3 ODST, it takes quite a while to get to the next mission. It could sometimes mean going to the other side of the city for the next mission. And with nothing interesting to do in the city, it has nothing to fill those gaps. So it just ends up feeling long and boring and just unnecessary. As far as the traditional missions go, you have your standard Halo affair here. You have the vehicle missions where you rush to destroy enemy vehicles and mow down hordes of Covenant, and 3 of them, in fact, and they're all fairly one note, which leads to a problem in the mission design of this game. All the missions are 1, short, and 2, they only serve one purpose. There is one exception, and that is the mission where you play as a sniper Romeo on top of this police station skyscraper, which is a varied and fun mission, but it's an outlier in a group of one-note and boring missions. Oh, the mission where you get in the tank and you go in a straight line and you blow stuff up. Yeah, I love that mission. Oh wow, the mission where you get in a Banshee and then you go down a hallway. You press a button and you kill more bad. A lot of the missions are like this, and they're fine. They're okay missions. But still, they pale in comparison to the likes of Halo 1, 2, and 3, which had all varied and interesting missions that would at least have you doing a variety of different things rather than just, oh, drive the Banshee, press the button, you're good, haha. And having boring missions like that is a death sentence for a game that's only 4 hours. I hate using this criticism against this game, but it is legitimate if those 4 hours aren't used properly. It's kind of like an album. You can have a really short album, and if all the songs on that album are great and are exceptional, like Pusha T's Daytona, check that one out, then really length isn't an issue. But if all those songs are tedious, boring, pretentious, like XXXTentacion 17, then yeah, I'm gonna criticize you on length, cause even when you slim this down to only the essentials and only what you needed to make good missions, you still failed to make something that is interesting and compelling. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely some missions in Halo 3 ODST that are fun. Like the sniper mission I mentioned earlier, that mission's a blast. But every other mission in this game, besides maybe the Dutch mission and the Buck mission, are tedious, boring, and just a chore to go through. This especially caps off with the final mission, where you're just driving a Warthog. Oh look, another vehicle mission. Woohoo, everyone, it's back. Woohoo, yeah! And it's like every other vehicle mission in the game, where you're just mowing down enemies, sometimes killing another vehicle. And then it has the audacity to take you all the way over for the final climax. And what is the final climax? It is a wave defense horde mode type of thing, which is just it's not fun. It's not fun. Wave defense is not that fun unless you give me an interesting play space, which this is not. Oh wow, a building and a parking lot, cool. I know it sounds like I'm being harsh on this game, and trust me, I don't hate this game. I, in fact, kinda like it, but it just pales in comparison to the original trilogy, and really, that should have been expected. But you could have at least gave me a condensed version of those games, and not a stripped version. This game doesn't fare well in the story department either. There's some interesting threads that are started, but are never really wrapped up. The one thing that is kinda cool about the story are the engineers, which is this Covenant species that are basically natural computers. And basically you uncover that they have been abused by the Covenant. So I think it would have been really cool to actually be able to free these creatures instead of just having to kill them and feel bad for it later. It's still one of the more interesting parts of the story, but everything else is just it's there. Especially the characters, besides Buck, which gets fleshed out to a degree. Everyone else is, like the missions, incredibly one-note, cliche, and so just Josh Whedon-y is just it boggles my mind how this isn't fucking Avengers 2. But the one really strong area of this game is the soundtrack. The soundtrack is ominous, jazzy, but very ambient as well. It really adds a lot to the city's atmosphere, and I think really should take pretty much all the credit. It really is Michael Salvatore and Marty O'Donnell's best work. But for Bungie as a whole, is Halo 3 ODST their best work? Hell no.
But as far as Bungie Halo games go, we still have a ton of ground to cover.
This video was late, I'm sorry.
And yeah, now I'm splitting this by game because, I don't know, I feel like that makes it a tad easier. And this part has been done for months, so I figured I'd get it out there. Yeah, this video has been remade so many damn times, it's kind of ridiculous. So that's kind of why it took so long. Is because one time the Adobe Premiere file got corrupted, one time I really didn't like the video, and it's just why don't I just release the Halo 3 ODST part, because that's just been sitting there for months and months and months. So here it is, Halo Reach. I have an idea. I'm gonna do something different with it, and I think it'll be out soon, but obviously my word, it doesn't mean shit at this point. So believe me not, I wouldn't blame you either way, honestly. But you guys might be wondering, why am I not uploading so many videos? Well, that's because for those of you that don't know, I also make music, and that's what I've really sunk a lot of my time into, is music. I'll have SoundCloud and Bandcamp links below, and just to let you guys know, in on a little secret, me and my friend Magnus Prophecy, or otherwise known as Maggie, we're working on something really fucking cool, so you might want to stay tuned for that one. Anyways, I've been Jobert. This was Halo Retrospective Detour, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. I love me, kid.